Thank you, Faye, and good evening, everybody, as this latest dramatic Premier League day finishes at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Liverpool, Manchester United and Chelsea among the teams beaten today. Is this the moment for Wolves to finally get off the mark? Their worst ever start to a Premier League season. Sooner rather than later, things have to start turning for them, but this already feels like a very different Tottenham, most certainly looking upwards these days under Thomas Frank. These the two sides. Vicario is the Tottenham goalkeeper. Spence, Romero, Van der Ven and Udogie. Bergval, Polinia and Bentancur. Kudus and Simons either side of Richarlison. And for Wolves, the goalkeeper is Johnston. Doherty, Santi Bueno, Krejci and Hugo Bueno in the back four. Munetsi, João Gomez and Andre in midfield. Arias, Wang and Strand Larsen up front. And the first thing that Wolves have done is they've won the toss and they've changed ends. So Tottenham will attack that amazing south stand, that enormous single-tiered stand away to the right-hand side in the first half, and the reverse of what they would usually wish to do. Relatively mild here on this Saturday night. The skies, of course, are dark overhead. The golden cockerel shimmers in the light at the top of the south stand, and the Spurs fans are really building up the atmosphere here. Wolves in their change kit tonight. Blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks, and Spurs in the familiar white and dark blue shirts, the dark blue shorts and white socks. So here we go on another Premier League Saturday, packed with excitement, late goals, surprises, controversy. As usual, it's the biggest, it's the best, and it's live on Talk Sport. Tottenham get the game underway. They will go second with a victory, but Vitor Pereira has said that for Wolves, without a point so far this season, remember, everything could change if they were to win tonight. And Tottenham have an early throw, left wing position, far side of the field, so Spurs from left to right in the first half, and Wolves from right to left towards the north stand, which is where the away supporters are. And Bergval will take this long throw for Tottenham, high towards the near post. Doherty heads it away against his old club. Back in by Bergval, jumping is Van der Ven, could reach Richarlison at the back post, hooked away by Hugo Bueno. Sam Johnston back in goal in the Premier League for Wolves tonight. Here is Mohamed Kudus for Tottenham, out on the near side, the right. Good skill by Xavi Simons, pulls the ball back from the dead ball line. Shot could be on here for Tottenham with Van der Ven laying it square. Out to the left to Udogie. Romero is forward, left corner of the penalty area, in towards Van der Ven. The two centre-halves nearly combine on the edge of a packed Wolves penalty area. And Wolves, in the opening stages, cannot get out of the defensive third, Scott Minto.
It's been a good start from Spurs, hasn't it? Very much on the front foot, as you'd expect, to be fair. I mean, we talked about how well Spurs have started under Thomas Frank and how poorly, on paper at least, Wolves have been. But I've seen enough of Wolves to say that they can hurt you. They've just not been clinical enough. They've also conceded poor goals. So if they can sort out in both boxes, easier said than done, then they've got some very, very good players. Everyone coming here expecting Spurs to trounce Wolves and may be slightly disappointed, certainly in the first half at least, but Spurs have started well.
Vitor Pereira already out to the edge of his technical area. The Wolves head coach, arms folded, of course, very recently signed a new contract with the club. Wolves now have got a throw on the near side in the left full-back position.
It's interesting though, Lucas Bergval had that long throw, and it's a thing that's coming back, isn't it, in terms of the long throws. I wonder when that was actually practiced, first of all. Maybe not last season, but certainly when Thomas Frank came in. We know how much he loves set pieces and long throws when he was manager of Brentford as well, but I just wonder when Lucas Bergval himself knew he had a long throw.
Well, he is a very adaptable head coach who is proven at improving players and unlocking maybe aspects of their game that perhaps even they hadn't thought about before. Wolves on the attack with Munetsi, nods the ball down the right hand side. He's got Udogie for company. Udogie forces Munetsi to go away from goal. Wolves have picked up an important and an encouraging victory against Everton in the League Cup in midweek, so Wolves are into the fourth round where they'll host Chelsea. And Wolves' two victories this season have come in the League Cup. For Tottenham, it's been a great start under Thomas Frank. Really the only disappointing day would have been the defeat to Bournemouth here in the Premier League at the end of August. It's Tottenham 0, Wolves 0 on Talk Sport. Wolves have it out on the near side, the left with Hee-Chan Wang. And going on the outside away from Kudus and driving towards the dead ball line. Kudus is tracking back at him. There's a deflection on the attempt at a pullback from Wang, and Wolves will get a corner on the near side of the field. It'll be really interesting tonight, given Vitor Pereira's comments before the game. Sort of feels like their season is starting now, almost as though they were not ready really for the first couple of weeks of the campaign. Can they build on midweek in the Premier League tonight?
Does that mean if they lose tonight, they can say it again next week?
And again and again and again. No points.
I know what he means. I know what he means after that victory midweek for sure.
Arias, the number 10, with the corner into the near post and cleared away at the far by Polina. Wolves are still on the attack here potentially. The ball bounces up and down at the midway points of the Tottenham half. Wolves have to go backwards to the centre circle, and Hugo Bueno all the way back to Johnston, the goalkeeper in green. The first season at Wolves certainly was disrupted by injury. The number 9, Jørgen Strand Larsen, out on the far side of the field. The right wing position, sliding in is Van der Ven with an expertly timed challenge. He whipped the ball off the toes of Munetsi. For a second there it looked like he was going to mistime it, but in the end the timing actually couldn't have been better.
But it's one of those where you don't see it too often now, because if you mistime it, then not only is it a foul, but it's a yellow card. But it was a perfectly timed old school challenge.
Polini flicking the ball over the top towards Richarlison. Wolves win it back initially through Santi Bueno. They have a great record against Tottenham over recent seasons. They've won 5 Premier League matches away to Spurs, and 3 of the 6 here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Wang, left corner of the penalty area, near side. Munetsi is on the overlap. He whips in the cross to the near post. Strand Larsen got his head to it initially. Arias couldn't pick up on the loose ball. Tottenham smuggle it away. A nervousness about the Spurs defending there, and that's got the crowd a little edgy early on here live on Talk Sport.
Amazing, isn't it? After that really good initial burst by Spurs, Wolves just showing that they've got good players as well. I know Strand Larsen, he's a finisher for sure. So if he's given chances, if the 2 centre-halves are just switching off, which they shouldn't, but if they do, then Wolves can hurt Spurs for sure.
Well, Scott, this is the unpredictability of the Premier League. And here come Wolves again. Hugo Bueno in space, the number 3, down the near side to fizz in a delivery. It evades everybody and reaches Doherty on the opposite wing. Far side, the Wolves right. Wolves impressing early on here, but it's still 0-0. Back they go to the tall centre-half, Santi Bueno. Forward of the centre circle, Doherty. Crossfield, high diagonal. Right to left towards the near side. Hugo Bueno tries to bring the bouncing ball under control, but Kudus and Bergvall between them do enough to win it back for Tottenham. And Bergvall looks to surge up the right. Foot in from Hugo Bueno again. Kudus wins it back right in front of the Wolves technical area, and he scampers away from 3 players in blue. Wolves having to retreat now with that back 4 in the Premier League today. First time in the Premier League under Pereira. And now Arias tracking back as Udogie really went down looking for a foul. Doesn't get it from the referee, and Wolves will smuggle the ball clear. Out of play, they win a throw. Midway inside their own half, right back position, far side of the field. Tottenham 0, Wolves 0. We've had nearly 7 minutes, and here's the former Chelsea defender Scott Minter.
Yeah, do you know what? We've only had 1 shot combined between these 2 sides so far, but it's already been played at a real high pace. You know, Spurs trying to have that great start, being at home up against the side, rock bottom, and then Wolves showing, okay, the first round gone, we're going to come back at you in the second. This could be a bit of a ding-dong. Have to wait and see. It might be one of those where, not that many chances, despite the game being played at high pace, and we might have to wait for the second half to really open up. But there's no doubt about it, there's enough quality on both sides, not just Spurs, to say that there should be goals in this game.
And Munetsi has won it back on the right-hand touchline for Wolves, and he surges forward towards the corner flag, and Arias wins Wolves a corner right in front of the travelling support, always well supported, home and away. Wolverhampton Wanderers, 3,000 have made the trip, plenty of them in the familiar old gold shirts. Wolves in the change kit tonight of blue and white, and they have a corner on the far side of the field, which Arias will take. Second corner of the game for the visitors, and Spurs have brought everybody back to defend it. Tottenham will go second in the Premier League, early days as it is, with a win tonight. Wolves just keen to get off the mark, pick up a first point or more. In by Arias towards Krejci at the near post. He scored against Leeds in the Premier League last weekend, but it's headed away by Rodrigo Bentancur. What a dramatic day of news and events in the Premier League as the ball goes through to Tottenham goalkeeper Vicario. Graham Potter sacked by West Ham. Nuno Espirito Santo back in football very quickly. He'll be in charge at Everton on the Monday Night Football live on Talk Sport. Everton against West Ham. And then in the aftermath of all of that, Manchester United beaten at Brentford, Chelsea beaten at home by Brighton, Liverpool lose for the first time at Crystal Palace, who, by the way, are the only team still unbeaten in the Premier League so far this season.
That point that Chelsea got at Stamford Bridge first game of the season looks like a good one now.
It does. What a job he's doing.
What a job.
Oliver Glasner.
And you know what? I don't want to be negative about Crystal Palace, but I do worry for them whether Glasner's going to be there next season. He's got 1 year left, but what a job he has done.
Eddie Nketiah scored a 97th minute winner for Crystal Palace to beat Liverpool earlier today, so the champions drop points for the first time this season. Nottingham Forest 0, Sunderland 1, so Forest without a win under Ange Postecoglou, and Manchester City 5-1 winners over Burnley, leads to Bournemouth 2, injury time equaliser for Bournemouth at Elland Road.
Don't wish anyone to lose as such, but we don't want to see Liverpool just running away with it, do we?
It doesn't feel like that's going to be the case now. 10 minutes gone and 0-0 on Talk Sport at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Are Spurs among the contenders? Well, tonight will be interesting. With Spence in the right back position near side of the field. Square ball to Romero, and Tottenham are at mere walking pace here. You said before the game, Scott, that this is the sort of match that has brought them the Spursy tag in the past, the sort of game where they've slipped up. Can they put that tag to bed well and truly under Thomas Frank, of course, having won the Europa League at the end of last season? Forward by Romero, sweeping pass out to the left-hand side. Udogie is forward, orange boots on, he takes on Doherty, goes on the outside of Doherty, well tracked back from João Gomez, but not a good clearance. Straight to Xavi Simons, and then Arias helping out Wolves defensively. They look quite well organised early on here, Wolves, and they'll smuggle it away through Doherty, who looks high and long towards the big number 9 Strand Larsen, beaten in the air by Mickey van der Ven, and Tottenham have it with the very cultured, I always think, João Palhinha on the halfway line.
Yeah, when I heard they were going to sign him, I thought that was a brilliant signing, I really did. Obviously only on loan for now. When he was in the Premier League 2 seasons ago, one of, if not the best holding midfield, well, maybe not the, when you got Rodri in there as well, but in terms of the stats, and certainly right up there with anyone in the Premier League. Didn't quite happen for him at Bayern Munich.
Just spent a season there after leaving Fulham. Tottenham on the attack. Udogie's cross deflected behind by Doherty. There are shouts from some Tottenham fans at the south end of the ground for handball. Nothing given by the referee, who had a pretty good view of it. What do you think, Scott?
Well, I'll tell you what,
his arm out, Doherty.
Yeah, I mean, I was initially thinking, even before I saw the replay, no, actually it hits his left arm, not his right arm. His right arm is out, and if it hit that, then that would have been interesting, but it hit his left, where it was kind of tucked in, and as he turned his body, it meant it hit his arm first, but it would have gone onto his body.
It will just be a corner for Tottenham. All 5 players in the penalty area have gone to the back post. Now they move towards the centre of the 6-yard box, which is where the delivery is aimed at, headed behind by Munetsi, and Tottenham get a second corner in quick succession. Looking for the breakthrough here, live on Talk Sport. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, on a day where England's women have won the Rugby World Cup. Congratulations to them after beating Canada at a packed-out Twickenham. And Xavi Simons again to take the corner for Tottenham. This one will be right-footed and in-swinging. Drifted in towards the near post and only half-headed away, skimmed off the head of Munetsi. The ball trickles towards the near side touchline, and Richarlison in a foot race with João Gomez, who punches the air as Wolves win a throw in their left-back position. Was that what you would do, and you managed to win a throw in the left-back position?
No, times are tough right now, but you don't punch the air for winning a throw in your own half.
But in fairness to Wolves, the fight and the organisation looks there early on at a ground where they have a good record.
To be fair, I don't mind it in terms of, let's stick together, let's be positive, let's work as a team, every little sort of battle run is something they can take a positive thing from. But I think if they are going to get anything out of this game, they need to be punching their air for something a little bit more important than that.
Tottenham 0, Wolves 0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Spurs against Wolves live right now. Search Now Sports. Tottenham attack with Xavi Simons inside left channel, up to the edge of the penalty area now, tried to wriggle infield. It has dropped to Bergvall, 25 yards out. Spurs fan behind us shouts shoot. We're high up in the main stand here. Big steep drop to the touchline below. Bentancur for Tottenham, long sleeves, gets it back from Udogie. Bentancur goes back towards the edge of the centre circle where Van der Ven is standing. Tottenham in their familiar white shirts, of course. Left to right in the first half. Richarlison drops deep to hold up possession. Udogie knocks the ball back out wide left first time to Bentancur. Now Xavi Simons, edge of the penalty area, whips in a lovely ball, headed off the bar by Kudus. And he and Richarlison then collide, and both are down, almost on the goal line, at a moment in time where Tottenham really should have gone 1-0 up.
Yes, they should have. What a ball from Xavi Simons. He's on the left-hand side. He's come inside. It's a whipped-in ball. Keeper can't come out and claim it. Looked like Richarlison would get there first. He couldn't quite. Kudus came in at the far post. It's almost as if he was put off by his own play. He shouldn't have been. He has to concentrate on the ball. He gets that on Thomas. Great save. Wow, just looking at that replay, what a save. That is brilliant reactions from Sam Johnston, it really is. I was just about to say he's got to hit the target there, but I think he did.
A second Premier League start of the season, and he got his fingertips to it, the goalkeeper. Really, in the context, it's a remarkable reaction save from point-blank range. Kudus is no more than 3-4 yards out, and the goalkeeper has got something on it with the edge of his fingertips to turn it onto the bar.
I can hear the top strikers saying, well, he should put it down a little bit more and make sure the keeper hasn't got a chance, but he got there with power. It was kind of straight at Johnston, just a little bit above him, but if he hadn't have got that touch, it would have gone in. It's a brilliant save.
The camera's just panned onto Jose Sarr on the bench today, the reserve Wolves goalkeeper for the evening. Richarlison off the field of play. Tottenham temporarily down to 10. 0-0, but they will feel they should be in front. Another long throw coming into the penalty area from Bergvall. Here comes Johnston, punches away one-handed through a crowd. Good height and distance on the punch. And Tottenham go back to the midway point of Wolves territory. Crossfield ball by Xavi Simons is too long this time. From left to right. And Kudus can't keep it in play, and you're absolutely right, Scott Minto. Xavi Simons is certainly playing more as an inside left player than hugging the touchline.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I'm a full-back up against him, I'm trying to show him down the outside because he's not really that sort of lightning quick winger that say Brennan Johnson is. I don't want to be showing him down the outside, but once he comes inside, he's so good. As I say, he's a number 10, but he's clever. He can play just behind Richarlison, or he can stay out wide and come inside and whip in a great cross like that. It's such an intelligent player as well as a technical one.
Well, Wolves have the ball with Munetsi, who goes down, wins a free kick midway inside the Tottenham half. Out on the near side, Munetsi, who scored the opening goal in the League Cup in midweek. The two benches, by the way, Spurs, Kinski, the goalkeeper, Danso, Tell, Gray, Johnson, Pedro Porro, Odobert, Sarr and Scarlett, and for Wolves, Jose Sarr, Mola-Wolfer, Agbadou, Rocadare, Rodrigo Gomez, Totti, Bellegarde, Fer Lopez and Chachua. Plenty forward here for Wolves for this free kick, including Santi Bueno, Strand Larsen and Krejci. Wang has taken it short. Little ball down the left to Arias, edge of the penalty area now. Infield to Doherty to whip a ball into the edge of the box. It's not a good one. Easy header away by the first man, Richarlison. But Wolves are still goalless here with Tottenham. 17.5 minutes gone. And since that remarkable Johnston save to deny Kudus, the game has settled down a bit again. Headed forward by Krejci, who'd stayed forward, the Czechia international. That is going to trickle out some play. Shepherded behind by Jed Spence, who's had quite the turnaround in his Tottenham career over the last couple of seasons. Remember when Antonio Conte called him a club signing? And he's been well worth it now, you feel. A key player in that Tottenham defensive unit. Spurs 0, Wolves nil. Scott Minto.
He just protected the ball, let it run out. I made a career out of that, by the way. And Monetzi was on the ground, and he gave him a look as if like, don't even try to take me on with or without the ball. Love that.
And here come Tottenham now with Bentancur out to the left-hand side, far side. Udogie level with the edge of the penalty area. There could be danger here. Bentancur held up by Andre. Wolves effective at getting plenty behind the ball when they're out of possession at the moment. This is more like it from Wolves. Udogie 10 yards from the corner flag on the far side. Tottenham go back infield now to Bentancur. Tries to pick out Xavi Simons. Back to goal. Reverse pass way overhead. High out to the right. Kudus applauds the intent, but the execution not there from the young Dutchman. And it's a Wolves throw in the left back position near side of the field. Vitor Pereira quite demonstrative early on here. Lots of finger wagging and instructions for his players. Thomas Frank has gone back to sit down in the dugout.
Yeah, I mean, I like Vitor Pereira, the job that he's done, and you can see he's a really, really good coach. And I feel like sort of pre-match I was a little bit negative towards Wolves, but I feel sorry for the fans. I don't blame the players. It's not their fault as such. It's down to recruitment. I don't blame the manager. He can only deal with what he's been given. I do kind of blame the owners. It's almost as if they've been circling the drain for a good few years, and at some point they will go down.
A Talk Sport live tonight from North London inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's full to capacity as ever.
So I do hope they not necessarily honour the full 3 year, but there's no point in giving him a 3 year. I mean, it does make a statement to the players. It's like, well, no, I'm not going to be another Wolves manager who's just sacked halfway through the season. They won't want to give me a 3 year contract and then have to pay up 2.5 years. So you have to listen to me.
Well, maybe that's a good thing, because the players can't rest on their laurels, and they have to give everything, because they know the manager is staying put. Whether enough Wolves managers have been backed over the years is a different question. And I think Wolves fans would tell you the answer is probably not.
No, and that's my point about the Wolves fans. They want to see their club try and kick on.
They're on the defensive here with Udogie, dead ball line, low ball into the penalty area, and Andre has hit that against the face. At least that's what it looked like of Santi Bueno, and behind for a corner. Not quite sure how that happened. I think he slipped the centre half, and Andre was right behind him, tucked it away, and it's hammered right into the face of the Uruguayan defender, and out of play for another corner. Some of the Tottenham fans wanted handball, but I'm sure that's come clean off his face.
No, it did. I mean, he took that quite well, didn't he?
He did okay.
He might give his mate Andre a little look and say, come on.
He's quickly back on his feet. I don't think that was an intended pass from Andre, that's for sure. Xavi Simons, ball into the near post, flicked by Bergvall, only half away by Monetzi. Bentancur back to goal, can't get the shot away, goes back out wide, 0-0. Xavi Simons, left edge of the penalty area, infield, little back heel. Bentancur never going to get there. Andre intercepts. Bentancur fouls him, almost like it was a bit over-enthusiastic, overzealous from Xavi Simons there in that position. A no-look back heel, and Wolves get a free kick and they absorb a little more of that pressure. It's Tottenham 0, Wolves 0 on Talk Sport.
Yeah, I just don't think Bentancur read it. I mean, you can see what Xavi was trying to do. He was trying to create a space for himself. It was good defending, shuffling him across the box there. So in the end, he back-heeled it. And if Bentancur, who went past him, had carried on, he might have had a shot first time.
Polina loses out in midfield to Wang, who surges over the halfway line into the centre circle, plays the ball out to the right. Udogie saw it coming, gets there in front of Arias. Wolves have got problems here, 4 against 4. Udogie left of centre square, ball deflects to Bergvall, who then misses his kick almost. It hits the retreating João Gomez and goes through to Johnston, and Wolves lucky there that they weren't punished.
Yeah, because it was a really poor pass in the first place from Wang. Gave Udogie the chance to really use his pace. I mean, the ball was right, the execution wasn't perfect, but he still found his way to Bergvall as well, and he's got to do better there. 18 yard, just inside the 18-yard box, bang in the middle of the goal. Take a touch if you need to.
And 0-0 it remains. Scott Minto with us tonight on Talk Sport. More live football tomorrow. Liverpool against Manchester United in the WSL. United have made a good start to the new WSL season. And of course, Game Day Live with Sam Matterface and the team will take you around the grounds on Talk Sport. Always a really good listen from 1:30 with Sam and the team Aston Villa against Fulham, Newcastle against Arsenal, among the Premier League matches, and the Monday Night Football again, live with us. Everton against West Ham, with Nuno in charge at West Ham. Dink into the penalty area by João Gomes for Wolves, covering header away by Udogie. Drops down to João Gomes, the number 8, edge of the box, knocks it wide to the near side. Hugo Bueno has a cross that thunders off the back of Spence, and Wolves have another corner.
The Wolves aren't just sitting back, are they? They're under pressure. They're playing away at Spurs, who have had a really good start to the season. They're bottom. They've lost all five of their Premier League games, but they don't look a side that's, devoid of confidence. If they lose the next 5, then maybe they will. But Spurs have been on top, but Wolves are very much in this game.
They made an almost equally bad start last season. Arias with the corner, poor, headed away at the near post. First man, Xavi Simons, has come back out to Wolves' new number 10. John Arias, the Colombian, plays it back to Wang. Long way out here, left of centre, and he's blazed the shot, sliced that horribly wide, and it lands in the front row of the Wolves fans in one corner of the ground.
Well, I think if he put the goal on top of another goal and then you moved it to the side, he still would have missed it.
Only just, it would have just grazed the post, wouldn't it? From that sort of distance.
I'm just looking at a replay of the Lucas Bergvall chance as well. Now, I understand why he took it first time. He had 2 players pretty close to him, but with someone of his technique, the youngster, he's got to get just a good connection on it.
Van der Ven and Romero alongside Vicario for the goal kick. Van der Ven has actually clattered it long downfield into the Wolves half. The ball is picked up by Bergvall. It is still Tottenham 0, Wolves 0. The latest odds are with Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Right now, Spurs to win at 4-7, the draw 11-4, and it's 9-2 for a Wolves victory. That's all thanks to Betfair. They're playing a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair, 18+, and do visit gambleaware.org. Kudus, near side the right, wing position. He's got Spence making an overlapping run. He was well tracked by Hugo Bueno, and then Wang doing his job effectively in terms of a defensive point of view. Then giving the ball straight to Bentancur. I think he had to Polino. I think he kicked the ground there, Wang. It didn't travel at all, that, but then Bentancur gives it away in a crowded area. Wolves have it with Munetsi, very edge of the centre circle inside his own half, and now just plays it backwards, and on the ball, Andre will slow the game down. Had a calf injury of late, Andre, but has now started the last 2 Wolves games. Wolves, in fairness to them, yes, Tottenham have had that one good chance for Kudus, but 26 minutes in, and you wouldn't think that Wolves have lost all 5 of their league games so far.
No, I mean, the game's probably gone how you'd expect with Spurs being at home. They have been on top, but Wolves have looked dangerous at times as well, and if they can get something from a set piece, they've had 3 or 4 already so far in terms of corners. If they get that first goal, the fans, it's just really interesting to see how they'll react. I'm sure they'll get behind this Thomas Frank team, but we talked about that Bournemouth game earlier in the season. I think the scoreline flattered Tottenham, not Bournemouth, with the performance that they put in. I mean, this is much better, and at home, if they do want to be finishing in the European places, they need to be winning games like this.
High ball forward by Spence down the inside right channel, header away by backpedaling Hugo Bueno. Kudus is quickly onto it. Little flick by Bergvall. Kudus! Oh, what a lovely goal! His first for Tottenham. Beautifully worked. Oh, but it won't count because the flag is up. What an impudent flick it was by Bergvall, and Kudus with a fizzer of a finish. But the assistant referee spotted an offside, and it's going to stay 0-0. VAR will check it.
Well, I hope they're wrong, but he's not. He's about 2 yards offside. But I mean, that's brilliant. It's just great to watch, and that's why people come to watch, not just Spurs, but their football side. They want to be seeing moments like that. Yeah, correct decision. It is offside. It was way offside, really. But really good direct play from Kudus. I mean, what a flick from Bergvall. He took out the whole of the Wolves' defence. Unfortunately, Kudus didn't run along the line. He just ran vertically rather than horizontally to stay onside. Good finish as well, wasn't it? So, well, it's a shame.
Yes, but no wonder he made it look so easy. He was 2 yards offside.
Well, he still had to make that finish, but
he did.
Yeah, I mean, you could even argue that it was a good line from Wolves and kind of played him offside. So, But look, it was great football all round, and we've almost got everything bar the goal. It's a really good game of football, this.
Tottenham 0, Wolves 0. Lovely flick by Bentancur in the build-up to that disallowed goal. And home form, as Scott was mentioning just before the ball ended up in the net, there has been an issue for Tottenham in recent months. Lovely flick with Richarlison, who doggies in, angled tight. Will he shoot? Will he go across goal? He dallied and ended up in the end being blocked off by the slide of Doherty, the former Tottenham man. It's a corner to Spurs, but it could, probably should have been so much more.
Yeah, 1-2, and he's definitely onside here, Doggy. He can't necessarily shoot with a tight angle, and he's looked up, and there isn't a Spurs player free, but sometimes you've just got to whip it in along the ground as hard as you can, because from a defensive point of view, no one wants to be facing their own goal, trying to play a shot away from goal. So yeah, just dillied there too much, but really good play from Spurs at the moment.
Really encouraging for Thomas Frank's team, who scored 3 in the League Cup on Wednesday here. In by Xavi Simons from the corner, header away by Munetsi, who's been important defensively for Wolves so far tonight in these situations. We're in the 30th minute, and Tottenham might feel that they're getting closer and closer to the opening goal. A corner in front of that magnificent south stand, cavernous south stand, so many Tottenham fans behind the goal. It'll be delivered in by Simons again, up to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Santi Bueno in front of Christian Romero. Tottenham regain possession through Bentancur, angled wide to the near side, the right, by Spence to Kudus. Spence makes the overlapping run, whips in the cross, diving header. Van de Ven is blocked, bills for handball, nothing given, and only half away really by Santi Bueno. Tottenham will come back at Wolves again, but they are trying to keep the tempo high here, Scott Minter.
Yeah, it's really good from Spurs in the last 5-10 minutes now. You know, the doggy should have done better. They've had a goal disallowed. They're very much on top, but when you are on top, you do need to get that goal.
Good early ball, Kudus, right wing position. Bergvall with a first time cross, headed away at the near post by Ladislav Krejci. It's come back to Kudus, close to the corner flag, and João Gomez whips it off his toes at the expense of another Tottenham corner. And this is probably the most prolonged period of pressure that Wolves have had to face in the game so far. Live on Talk Sport, as Tottenham with Kudus to take the corner, having just a few moments ago seeing a goal ruled out rightly for a clear offside, though the build-up play was delightful and so was the finish. Kudus one arm up into the air, the former West Ham man. Here it comes, left-footed, right underneath the crossbar. Johnston takes it well, high enough that it eluded everybody bar the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a bit of a waste, that, isn't it? You've got to try and really whip it in. It's not easy to do. You've definitely got to beat the first man, but by worrying too much about beating the first man, you can overhit it, and that's what he's done. It was catching practice really for the class of Sam Johnston.
Forward by Andre, up to the centre circle and Wang. Little reverse ball down the middle towards the onrushing Munetsi. Was he caught by Xavi Simons? He was. Free kick, and this could be a yellow card, and it is, out of the pocket of the referee, Michael Salisbury. And Simons is booked.
Well, it's a typical winger's tackle where you don't need to make it, and actually
nasty challenge.
Yeah, he's come down on it. He's kind of missed him first of all, and as he's come back up, he's caught him in the back of his calf. That is painful, and definitely yellow card.
A winger's challenge spotted by a former fullback. But it was the right decision from the referee, even though the Tottenham fans were definitely not happy about it.
But he kind of lunged at him, Munetsi. He missed him, and then as he came up, he kind of actually then caught him on his calf. It was nasty.
0-0 free kick, central position, dinked in by Arias into the penalty area, flicked high across goal by Andre. Munetsi jumps, Strand Larsen couldn't get the ball under control. Not seen a lot of the number 9 so far in the game, but Wolves have comfortably got possession back on the halfway line now with Hugo Bueno. He's under a bit of pressure from Bergvall, but he's played the ball forward cleverly, chested down by Krejci into the path of João Gomez, and Wolves have it again. Andre just to the right of his teammates, square ball back in field to João Gomez once more, and Tottenham have got everybody behind the ball here. And 12 minutes of the first half to go. Premier League results from earlier today. Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 1. Liverpool beaten for the first time this season. Brentford 3, Manchester United 1. Live on Talk Sport earlier today. Chelsea 1, Brighton 3. And Chelsea, who had Trevor Chalobah sent off. Leeds 2, Bournemouth 2. Manchester City 5, Burnley 1. A couple of own goals from one player, Burnley's Esteve. 2 for Erling Haaland as well, and Phil Foden got the other. And Nottingham Forest 0, Sunderland 1. So Forest yet to win in 5 games under Ant Postecoglou. The Nottingham Forest, the Postecoglou Tottenham days feel a very long time ago now, especially now that Nuno has replaced Graham Potter at West Ham. So a nice quiet day in the Premier League.
This is getting ridiculous, isn't it? The merry-go-round.
Here is Romero at walking pace for Tottenham. Centre circle, and he gets a return ball back from the number 6 Polinia, who played at centre half in the League Cup in midweek. Now infield from the far side is Bentancur. Back to Romero, not even under really token pressure from Jürgen Strand-Larsen. Wolves don't need to press on the halfway line. Xavi Simons further forward now, midway inside the Wolves half. Doggy hugging the touchline, plays it back now to Van der Ven, and Wolves have got everybody behind the ball. Effectively a flat 4-5-1 when they've not got possession. Backwards from Kudus to Spence, and now Tottenham again on the halfway line with Romero, but there's no great pace to this Tottenham attempt at an attack, and it's a misjudgment from Spence. He rolls the ball straight out of play for a Wolves throw.
Yeah, it's 4-5-1, sometimes 5-4-1. Andre's just dropping in if either Xavi Simons or Lucas Bergvall are kind of bumming on, so he's not passing on, he's actually going back into himself. But either way, they do look quite solid, Wolves, don't they?
10 minutes to go in the first half, and a lunge from Doherty catches Udogie. Definitely a free kick and surely a booking, and it is. It was just mistimed from the captain in his second spell now at Wolverhampton Wanderers, and he jogs away, except that it has to be a yellow card.
Look really solid, and then he goes and does that. I tell you what though, Udogie, there's not many better fullbacks bombing on down that left than he when he's 100% fit.
Kudus whips the ball into the penalty area, has somehow reached Richarlison at the back post to dink it in high, and too much on it for Bergvall, who was well marshalled actually by Munetsi. Munetsi got goal side, and it's gone behind for a goal kick to Wolves away to our right in front of the south stand. Still Tottenham 0, Wolves 0. I wonder what Thomas Frank has made of what he's seen. Scott, is he seeing enough to be encouraged so far?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think fair play to Wolves for, not just looking solid defensively for most of the time, but also trying to get down the other end. They've had plenty of set pieces, plenty of corners. There's no doubt about it, Spurs have been the better side. It's not quite able to open up with that great chance, but they have had moments, haven't they?
And now 9 minutes plus added time to go in the first half. Tottenham 0, Wolves 0 on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, whatever it is they're here for.
And it goes to show, you're playing the bottom side that hasn't got even a point yet, let alone a win. It's not easy. This is the Premier League.
2 players down. Munetsi is still down, and Polinia of Tottenham relatively quickly got to his feet, and across goes the referee with Marshall Munetsi holding onto his shoulder.
Actually, this is the Premier League this season for the first time in 3 years. It's difficult to call, isn't it?
The relegation battle is going to be interesting. Nobody would have thought that Sunderland would be third even at this early stage. Leeds have made a decent start. Burnley just the 4 points, but they're outside of the relegation zone. Not many would have said Aston Villa, West Ham and Wolves the bottom 3, but it is still very early on. And the referee has stopped it here, and Munetsi on his feet. I wonder whether Thomas Frank is saying that Munetsi should have to go off. In fact, it's Udogie who's come over to the near side touchline, so Spurs temporarily down to 10, and Spence has bizarrely dribbled the ball straight out of play. Wolves throw, left wing position, given away by Strand-Larsen pretty quickly, and now Tottenham with Kudus fouled just shy of halfway. No, in fact the referee's let play continue. Udoggie's back on, and he's got to get into defensive mode straight away. Arias with a shot at goal from the angle, and it's high over the top of the crossbar. Still 0-0.
Well, sort of attacks are becoming more and more scarce in this first half as Tottenham dominate the ball in terms of possession, but they certainly show that they can attack. And they've won the ball back. They've got the ball out to Arias very quickly. He's had space. He's got into the box, and yeah, he'd be thinking, I've got to hit the target there. I mean, look, he's still a long way out. He's just outside the box. And there's an angle on it for sure, but if you get that half a yard, go across the keeper, hit the target. I mean, what I would say is it's a really good 11 for Spurs. With Charlison, I think he's a very good player, but injury prone. Izzy top and Vicario in goal. I think he's a decent enough keeper. I wouldn't put him in the top 5 of the Premier League, so have a go in and pepper him with shots.
Well, they have got it back half the pitch, though. Just as I say that, Polinia blocks off Arias, and Tottenham can counter here over the halfway line with Xavi Simons darting infield into a central area, brought down by João Gomes. Another foul, another stoppage, another free kick, and another yellow card, this time for João Gomes.
He knew what he was doing there, didn't he? It was a great bit of skill from Xavi Simons as he comes inside Andre, and then he goes inside João Gomes, who just lunges in. And it's one of those midfielders trying to stop a potential attack, because Tottenham had won the ball quickly back from Wolves. And just those professional fouls in the first half, I don't like them. You're on a yellow card.
Tottenham take the free kick. Udogie left hand edge of the penalty area wins Tottenham a corner. Latest in the Ryder Cup in New York. Europe lead the United States by 8.5 points to 3.5. The European team won the morning foursomes 3-1, and at the moment they are edging what is being described as a high quality afternoon four balls. It's Europe 8.5, the United States 3.5, and of course we'll keep you up to date across the rest of the weekend on Talk Sport. 0-0 here, 5 minutes of the first half to go, and Tottenham preparing to take a corner, but Michael Salisbury, the referee, been quite busy in the first half, is having a word with Romero on the goal line, and Romero standing very close to Johnston, right behind the goalkeeper. Little tangle with Andre. Remember, they've been told to look at holding, the referees, as the ball is delivered into the near post, poorly really by Simons, headed away again by the first man, Hwang. Tottenham recycle the ball onto the opposite side, the near side right wing position. Kudus drills in the cross, and the overhead kick from Bergvall was a stunner, but over the top of the crossbar.
Well, again, great play from Kudus. I mean, how many times do you want to take on your midfielder? It's not exactly the fullback that came out. Went past João Gomes twice, whipped the ball in. It's a little bit behind Lucas Bergvall, which gives the possibility of having that volley. And if he was able to keep it down, I mean, what a goal that would have been, right around the penalty spot, volleying that on the turn, top corner, but couldn't quite get over the ball enough.
Johnston taking his time with the goal kick. The referee has had a word with the goalkeeper. Still Tottenham 0, Wolves 0, but Spurs, who've had good spells in the game, maybe rather than outright overrunning Wolves at every opportunity, are the team who'll be the more frustrated, of course. The team with the chance to go second in the Premier League above Crystal Palace, and if Tottenham were to win, they would be on 13 points, so 2 points behind the champions, Liverpool.
That top 5 at the moment is incredible, isn't it? Liverpool, you can understand that. Palace second, Spurs third, Sunderland fourth, Bournemouth fifth.
It is the unpredictable Premier League, at least at the start of the season. The topsy-turvy Premier League. Foul on Spence by Arias, and quite quiet at the moment at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Free kick to Spurs in the right full-back position. Their home matches so far: a win against Burnley in the Premier League and a defeat in the Premier League to Bournemouth. Of course, they beat Villarreal on this ground in the Champions League, and Doncaster in the Cup in midweek. Good ball, Polinia out to the right. Kudus plucks it out of the air. Right edge of the penalty area. Curling shot turned away by Johnston. Good save. Polinia goes down on the edge of the area, trying to follow it up. Thought he was tripped by Monetzi. Nothing given by the referee. Polinia stays down, and then Wolves get a free kick themselves.
No, never. Not what I first saw anyway, and I'm sure the referee and VAR will stick with that. And Paulinho, he knows exactly where he is in the box. I'm pretty sure if it's a centre circle, he'd be getting up right now. Again, what great play from Kudus. Cuts inside, it's a really good save. And he's just nipped in there ahead of Monetsi. And then he's felt the contact and he's gone down. And I'm sorry. Well, he's got his foot up, Monetsi. Unless we can clearly see with VAR that he's absolutely caught him, there's no way that's going to be overturned. We haven't seen that proper angle, though. We're still waiting on it.
Well, the restart delayed because Paulinho now gets to his feet. Word in his ear from a couple of the Wolves players. The referee hasn't left the penalty area just yet. We haven't had confirmation of any VAR check up to this point. Monetsi on Paulinho as he tried to reach the rebound, edge of the box. Is there any contact from Monetsi? Doesn't appear so. Referee has left the penalty area now, and it looks like that's the end of it. Wolves will get a free kick.
Look, it's a clumsy challenge, there's no doubt about it. He didn't know that Paulinho was behind him, but we still haven't seen the angle from the other side, which I think would be, absolutely definite to say whether it was or it wasn't. But I just feel there's no way that's going to be overturned. Again, I go back to clear and obvious. That wasn't a clear and obvious error, and Paulinho knew what he was doing.
The last minute of normal time at the end of the first half. Header away by the retreating Bentancur for Tottenham, who are 0-0 here with Wolves. Wolves yet to pick up a point so far this season. Tottenham free kick in the left back position. Next midweek we'll have the return of European football. Among our commentary matches on the network, Chelsea against Benfica, Galatasaray against Liverpool, Arsenal Olympiacos, Monaco against Manchester City, and Nottingham Forest at home to Midtjylland on Thursday. Make sure you download our app to be across it all. Kudus starts down the right for Tottenham, right edge of the penalty area, ball in with the outside of his foot, to the deflection, and Richarlison stretched with all his might, but he couldn't turn it in. Kudus is at the heart of everything Tottenham are creating as we go into 4 minutes of added time, but it somehow stays 0-0.
Well, I'll tell you what an incredible player this guy is, and what an incredible ball. He's got about 2 or 3 players around him. He's just absolutely, with the outside of his left foot, whipped it around the Wolves defence, and Richarlison's got in there and just can't believe he didn't quite get on the end of it.
30 seconds into the 4 added, in by Xavi Simons, header away again by Monetsi. He's been excellent so far for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Spence will roll the ball all the way back to his goalkeeper Vicario in a purple goalkeeping kit. Here comes Spence over halfway, totally unchallenged. Got time to whip a high crossfield diagonal ball towards the left edge of the penalty area. Could drop on the edge of the box for Bergvall. It's nodded away by Doherty. Now the ball is back with Spence. 30 yards out, urged to shoot. Instead finds Simons, dead centre. Dinks the ball out wide. Kudus brings it down neatly. Another clip cross into the area. Headed away. Drops down towards Simons. And now Udogie on the left corner of the penalty area. And Wolves just happy to try and hold on until half time. Simons by the corner flag, far side of the field. Monetsi does well with a good tenacious challenge. It is a Tottenham throw right by the corner flag. Scott Minto.
Yeah, you're right, Wolves are hanging on in here. They're on the ropes, they're waiting for the bell to ring to save them, and they're hoping over the next couple of minutes they can keep this clean sheet.
2 minutes of added time in the first half. In by Bergvall, flick to the back post. Romero knocks it across goal rather than towards it. Wolves managed to get the ball away. They've got it, Tottenham on the halfway line. Fizz down the inside right by Spence, header away by Hugo Bueno. One of the Wolves assistants is going mad on the near side touchline, but Wolves have got it with Andre now. Andre from inside his own half, ball right down the middle. Arias is onto it. Arias edge of the penalty area. Good challenge by Udogie. Coming across as Arias, having cleverly played the ball beyond Bentancur, looked to get his shot away left-footed. Udogie there on the cover. 0-0. This is a really good game, Scott.
It's brilliant football from Wolves. First of all from João Gomez, and then from Andre as well. Just flicking it around Paulinho and going around the other. It's a great timed run from Arias there, but brilliant left-back play, realising don't even risk trying to play offside. Go with the runner. It's a great block in the end from Udogie. Can Wolves nick it on half-time?
Arias, right-footed in swinging corner, header away by Richarlison. It's dropped down to Hugo Bueno, who from midway inside the Tottenham half goes all the way back to Johnston, and some of the 3,000 Wolves fans not best pleased. We've had 3 of the 4 added minutes now in the first half on TalkSport. Johnston thunders the ball long, header infield by Monetzi, nodded down by Strand Larsen. Krejci, left edge of the penalty area, looks wide to Arias. Arias with the cross, goes off Bentancur and goes behind for another Wolves corner on the near side of the field. And Wolves, I mean, in some ways they'll be really pleased with the performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've defended really strongly despite conceding chances against a very good side, but they've looked dangerous going forward as well. It's a really good 0-0 game.
What can the tricky, pacey Arias produce from this corner, near side the left, right-footed in, swinging, flicked onto the near post, only half away. Oh, and Doherty hits the woodwork at the back post against his old team. Matt Doherty, right-footed on the half volley, and I think that might have come off the junction between the crossbar and post. It's a goal kick, and Doherty was all alone. It's a big warning to Tottenham as the half-time whistle blows. Spurs having had really all of the chances in the first half, though Wolves have certainly not looked like a team with no points. And at the bottom of the table, Matt Doherty hitting the bar right at the very end of that first half. Kudus also denied by the woodwork via the fingertips of Sam Johnston. And indeed, Kudus has been Tottenham's most potent attacking threat. He had a goal ruled out for offside and another shot saved by Johnston, the Wolverhampton Wanderers goalkeeper. But it is entertaining stuff on TalkSport, though no goals. Spurs 0, Wolves 0. It's okay, I'll protect him. Believe it or not.
Can I have Faye protecting me?
Well, she's nearest the stairs, so yes, you can. As Wolves prepare a double change with Agbadou and Chachua coming onto the field now. And Jackson Chachua is a particularly interesting player, the fastest player in Serie A when he was at Verona in all of last season. He's got real pace, and Agbadou, a January signing from Reims in France. And we're hearing that Wang and Doherty are going to be the 2 Wolves players to make way, and confirmation of those changes now. The 4th official holds up the electronic board, and it is indeed those 2 who are replaced. I wonder whether part of the thinking with Doherty was that he is on a yellow card. So it's 0-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and no changes for Spurs at the break. They had the better of the chances in terms of number in the first period, but Wolves also hit the bar through Doherty just before half-time. And we're back underway on TalkSport. Tottenham this time playing from right to left in the second half towards the North Stand with its 3 tiers. That's where the Wolves supporters are seated. Spurs in white and dark blue as ever, and Wolves in their change kit of light blue shirts, white shorts and light blue socks. A lot of spectators still to get back to their seats for the second half. Be interesting to see how Wolves shape up here. I do wonder whether they've gone to a back 5 or 3 centre halves, back 3, whatever you like to call it. And we'll keep an eye on that. But Tottenham, no changes for them. So Vicario remains in goal, of course, with Spencer right back, Romero and Van der Ven the 2 centre halves, Nudogi the left back. Wolves on the attack now. Out to the right hand side is Chachua. First touch for the newly arrived substitute. He's got pace to burn. Inside right channel. He'll pull it back towards Santi Bueno. Square ball infield to Andre, middle of the Tottenham half, and Spurs have now got plenty behind the ball. The Tottenham midfield is Bergvall, Polinia and Bentancur as Wolves go back to the halfway line. Kudus, Simons and Richarlison are the front 3. Now Scott Minto. Wolves have made that double change. Chachua and Agbadou onto the field. Have they changed their shape?
Not necessarily. I mean, the fullbacks are pushed on, and Andre looks like he could play as a 3rd centre half, but he's playing in front again. I said about how in the first half it was sometimes without a ball 4-5-1, actually 5-4-1 when he was dropping in, but he's not playing as that 3rd centre half, so it still looks like it is a 4.
And Monetzi for Wolves plays it backwards to Arias. Wolves still to get off the mark in the Premier League this season. Even a win wouldn't take them out of the drop zone, but any sort of positive result would be a very welcome one for them tonight. Akpadu with a hurried first-time ball out to the left-hand side. It's a good ball on the diagonal to find Hugo Bueno just inside the Tottenham half, and Wolves keep possession. Back to Akpadu now, all the way back to Johnston, the goalkeeper. So it looks like Santi Bueno at right back, Akpadu and Krejci the centre halves, Hugo Bueno at left back, and then the three in midfield of Munetsi, João Gomez and Andre, Arias and Chichua in the wing positions in support of Strand Larsen, and Chichua on the cover here to check the run of Xavi Simons as Johnston comes out to the edge of his penalty area to collect. This is Talk Sport, and here is the former Chelsea and West Ham defender Scott Minter.
Yeah, you said about how quick he is to Chua, and he certainly had to be quick there. Look, the bottom line is, without the ball it's a back four, so he drops in as a right back, but with the ball he's being asked to really push on as much as possible and take Udogie the other way.
We'll do our best to bring you post-match reaction here before we go off air at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium later tonight. Thomas Frank and Vitor Pereira, 03717 223344, to have your say on a dramatic day of football in the Premier League and beyond on the Talk Sport network, as Tottenham win a free kick in a dangerous area close to the corner flag, near side their left. Tottenham in the unfamiliar position in the second half of attacking the north stand goal. Split between home and away supporters, that end in the lower tier at least. Of course the Wolves fans are vastly outnumbered at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Xavi Simons, the number 7, and Kudus, who was really the danger man in the first half, the two over it. Romero and Van de Ven look to have gone to the back post near Richarlison. Bentancur, Polinia and Bergvall also good in the air. The Wolves have brought everybody back to defend this set piece. Tottenham, remember, goes second in the Premier League if they win tonight. 0-0 the score. 4 minutes into the second half. Kudus delivers really poor. Left-footed, easy header away by Andre. Almost had to stoop to knock that clear. It had no height or whip on it whatsoever. And Tottenham go all the way back to Vicario. The Spurs subs: Kinski, Danso, Tell, Gray, Johnson, Porro, Odobert, Sarr and Scarlett. And for Wolves, the remaining subs: Jose Sarr, Muller-Wolfer, Rocadare, Rodrigo Gomez, Totti, Bellegarde and Fer Lopez, having made that double change at half-time. Wolves have won 3 of the 6 meetings here at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Xavi Simons infield from the left, whip ball crossfield, left to right, low along the ground to Spence. Spence inside right channel, back to Bentancur. Wolves have got everybody bar Strand Larsen back behind the ball. Romero for Tottenham, about 40 yards out, right of centre. Diagonal ball, right to left of the near side. Kudus plucks it out of the air, left-handed to the penalty area. Kudus goes on the outside of Hugo Bueno, digs that across, it's over hit. Bentancur will do well to keep that in ahead of the pacey Chichua. He has done, and he's nudged it back to Spence. Romero for Tottenham, square to Van de Ven. Noise levels starting to pick up here in North London. Xavi Simons blocked off by Andre, fairly. Wolves counter, chip over the halfway line. Munetsi's never going to reach that. Van de Ven quickly across in front of him. There's another pacey player on the field tonight. And Van de Ven will shepherd the ball back to Vicario. And Tottenham can come forward again. Coming into the weekend, only Liverpool had scored more second half goals in the Premier League than Tottenham, and Spurs are the only team in the Premier League yet to concede after half time so far this season. It is early days, of course, but the second half signs under Thomas Frank are good for Tottenham. Spence, high ball over the top down the right, raiding after it is Kudus. Back with him was Chichua. And what's the referee said here? Well, the offside flag is up, and so Wolves get a free kick. In the Premier League today, Brentford 3, Manchester United 1 live on Talk Sport. Chelsea 1, Brighton 3, Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 1, Leeds 2, Bournemouth 2, Man City 5, Burnley 1, and Forest 0, Sunderland 1 in the Championship. Middlesbrough top and still unbeaten. Bradford top of League 1 after beating Blackpool, and Walsall now top of League 2. Part of the reason for that because Gillingham have finally lost their 21-game unbeaten run, which had been a club record. Beaten today by Harrogate. A foul on Bergvall. Tottenham free kick midway inside their own half, and It is the sort of game, Scott Minto, that could become frustrating for the Tottenham fans quite quickly if it doesn't go their way, and Brennan Johnson is among those warming up now.
Yeah, it hasn't really caught a light in the second half in the way that it did in the first, and certainly the way it ended. Oh, really gave that ball away, did Romero. It's a very fluid system from Wolves. You know, at times it looks like a 3, at times it's a 4, at times it's absolutely a 5.
Richarlison looks for Kudus out on the right, but Hugo Bueno's there to intercept. Heard the groans of the Spurs fans.
You know, Vitor Pereira's asking his fullbacks or wingbacks to be very intelligent. Sometimes one pushes on and the other one just tucks in, so it's a 4. Other times both can bomb on, so it's a 3. You've got to know where the ball is and where your position is.
Wolves counter between the lines, and Tottenham have really lost the midfield there as Chichua delivers from the right, header behind by Bentancur. Romero had pushed forward all the way to a striker's position. He was trying to press the Wolves goalkeeper Johnston, and Wolves broke through that press with ease really, and they have a corner on the near side away to our right. 0-0.
There's no doubt about it. Chichua's come on and made a difference. He's trying to bomb on as much as possible down that right hand side. Doesn't really want to come back. It's a really good cross and good defensive header.
Cameroon international Chichua. The delivery will come from the number 10, Arias of Wolves. Right-footed and out-swinging. Headed by Krejci, turned away and tucked in! Santi Bueno! Wolves have scored! The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is shocked! And are Wolves on their way to a shock victory here in North London? They could well be on a day in the Premier League where you really have to expect the unexpected. Santi Bueno is there, an open goal, he pokes it in, it trickles over the line, and it's Tottenham 0, Wolves 1.
Well, again, we talked about it, didn't we, in the first half, where Wolves, yes, they were very much on the back foot for large parts of it, but they did get forwards and they did create some corners, and then it's about the quality of the ball going in. It's a great ball in. It's 4 Tottenham players not able to head the ball away. I still think Vicario's got to do better there. It's bounced off Paulinho and then got into the path of Santi Bueno. So where all those Tottenham players went for that first initial ball, they didn't react quickly enough. You got Monetzi and also the goal scorer Santi Bueno with just Paulinho around. Unlucky for Paulinho, has bounced off in right into the path of Bueno, but that's poor defending from a set piece. Wow, interesting stuff here.
Santi Bueno, his first for Wolves, his first in English football, and for Tottenham a new head coach and plenty of bright signs early on in the season, but this feels like a familiar story for Spurs. A game they're expected to win, a game that really they should win, but they're a goal down. Thankfully for them, we're only 10 minutes into the second half, but what a prospect here on Talk Sport for Wolverhampton Wanderers. 1-0 to the good. Chichua sliding in to keep the ball for Wolves, and Andre retrieves that edge of the centre circle. It was Andre's risky crossfield pass, and he was helped out by his teammate Chichua, but all credit Vitor Pereira for the slight tactical tweaks that he's made, and the Wolves fans are bouncing away to the left hand side. It was not a particularly pretty goal, but they'll take any kind of goal, just their 4th in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's definitely more of a 3 or a 5 in the second half than it was in the first, but again, it's about intelligent players and knowing when you can and you can't go. And Chichua coming off the bench in this second half, he's came and dropped back, he's played like a right back at times. Most of it though, he's bombed on as much as possible, and he's looked very, very dangerous, but ultimately the difference so far, it's a set piece.
And now the gauntlet is really thrown down to Tottenham. Hugo Bueno 10 yards shy of the halfway line, slightly left of the centre circle, high ball up the inside right channel, header away by Udogie, and it was nowhere near Chichua there for Wolves, who lead by a goal to 0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The ball is given away by Romero. Spurs sloppy early on in the second half, and Vitor Pereira will be delighted, no question about it, but a real disappointment for Thomas Frank and Spurs in terms of the way the second half has begun. The ball is on the halfway line with João Gomez, and a square pass to Arias. Back he goes to Andre. Loud noise from the Wolves fans. And lots of old gold in that away section. A couple of banners as well. As Wolves win a throw in their left-back area. He said the season can start here, Vitor Pereira, and it feels like Wolves have finally arrived in the Premier League this season.
They've still got well over half an hour to try and hold out and keep that clean sheet, but the second half, we said about how it hasn't started in the way that it kind of finished for Spurs. 62% for Wolves, 2 shots on target, none for Spurs so far.
Xavi Simons blocked off by Andre, who just stepped in front of him. Free kick to Tottenham midway inside the Wolves half. Tottenham 0, Wolves 1 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream the Premier League flexibly with a Now Sports Day or month membership, 18 plus, stream via internet. Terms apply. Now, what's Vicario doing here? He's, for a moment there, I thought they were going to give the free kick to the goalkeeper, but he's walking backwards now. Word in the ear maybe of Simons.
We're not in the 94th minute yet.
Free kick taken short by Simons out to the left and too quick for the referee. Michael Salisbury wasn't ready. Free kick will be taken again. When we think about the big decisions in the game, I think he's got pretty much all of them right, the referee so far. Free kick slightly left to centre. Simons out wide to Udogie, left corner of the penalty area. Wolves with the lead and with everybody back behind the ball. Hadn't won, hadn't even picked up a point in the Premier League before today. Nearly an hour gone and Spurs are behind by a goal to nil. Spence nudges the ball wide. Kudus with an in-swinging left-footed cross. Header away by Santi Bueno. Polina nods it down back into the penalty area. Not seen a lot of Polina tonight. Wolves smuggle it clear. Little flick by Spence out of play. Is there any complacency that you can see in this Tottenham performance as a former player, Scott Minto?
No, I don't think it's complacency. I think we've got to give credit to Wolves here. You know, even when they were under the cosh in the first half, they were looking to try and get forward where possible. They did get plenty of corners. And do you know what? Quite often you get it, Joe, where the second half, the team that's on top doesn't want it to come. You literally are starting again. There's no doubt about it, the tweak to the system, the little tweak of Agdabou coming on and Chachua bombing on a little bit more. Hugo Bueno at times, but more often than not tucking in is different.
Richarlison to Simons, bursting into the penalty area now, forced well wide of goal, and then a well-timed sliding challenge comes in from the goal scorer, Santi Bueno, having got his first in English football to knock it away and out of play for a Tottenham throw. 1-0 to Wolves.
Well, it's brilliant, not just from him, but from 3 Wolves players there, just shepherding Xavi Simons across. And it was Santi Bueno in the end made the tackle.
Tottenham fans behind the goal get to their feet. Here comes the long throw of Lucas Bergvall. Plenty of white shirts in the penalty area. Bergvall long into the near post. Wolves can't deal with it. Bentancur lashes at it, blocked by Munetsi. And now they will smuggle it clear. Surely Wolves. Munetsi high downfield, up into the dark evening sky, and Chachua battling with Bergvall, who puts himself between Chachua and the ball. Bentancur wins it back for Tottenham. He might be about to come off shortly, Bentancur. Brennan Johnson stripped and ready to go. Down below us on the halfway line. But Tottenham are in trouble here. We mentioned it earlier on in the commentary. Home form has been a problem for them in recent months. Simons out on the left, wins a corner off Santi Bueno again. Wolves doubly determined defensively, and they'll also face the threat of Pedro Porro, who's going to come on shortly, we think, for Spence. So a double Tottenham change on the way, but can they bring themselves level? Not beaten Wolves since August 2022 here, when Harry Kane scored the only goal. Here comes Xavi Simons with the in-swinging delivery, high into the 6-yard box, punched away by Sam Johnston. Did very well through a crowd. He was excellent in the first half, the goalkeeper. Tottenham with Spence jinking away down the right-hand side. He's got to force his way beyond 2 blue shirts. He's somehow done it with a flick in field, but he's put too much on it for Kudus, who fouls Andre. Tottenham 0, Wolves 1, and here come the Spurs changes. About the right time, Scott Minto?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, since the start of the second half, Wolves have been in control, which is something that Thomas Frank would not have wanted, so he's got to do something different. I understand Now Bentancur coming off. There's no point in playing 4-3-3 and having those sort of three central midfielders. Get Brennan Johnson out wide, use his pace. Xavi Simons come inside. The two holders is absolutely fine. Interesting Porro for Spence. I don't necessarily think it's needed, but Porro can certainly add something different. But there's no doubt about it. In terms of tactics, I thought what Vitor Pereira's done in the second half of the substitutions he's made a massive, massive difference.
Wolves now with a lead to protect, and they can take off João Gomez here. He is on a yellow card. Jean-Rigner Bellegarde, the Frenchman, is his replacement. Down below us, Bellegarde, who started the last two matches, started in the League Cup in midweek, and it's a slow walk from João Gomez, and just ushered further forward by the referee as Bellegarde waits to come on. Some final instructions here from Vitor Pereira. In the Ryder Cup, Europe 8.5, the United States 3.5 is the latest score. We'll keep you up to date across the rest of the weekend, and of course the singles in New York tomorrow on Talk Sport. And well done to England's women, who won the Rugby World Cup at Twickenham earlier with a 33 points to 13 win over Canada. Wolves built the ball long downfield, header away by Pedro Porro, his first touch. Xavi Simons playing more centrally, it looks like now. Feeds Udogie out to the left hand side in Kudus. Kudus is level with the edge of the penalty area now, taking on Chichua, who's backing off. Chichua stands up well, wins it back for Wolves, and feeds Munetsi back towards Chichua, who was raiding to the halfway line. Important touch actually from Van der Ven to knock it out of play.
Yes, it was. And Chichua is absolutely dominating this game from this kind of right wing back position. Really good defensively, made a wonderful tackle, and then just bombed on there, and it was a great touch, because if it had been played through to him, it would have been only just inside Spurs' half, but he was completely free, and with the pace that he's got, who knows what could have happened.
Well, Thomas Frank watches on inside his technical area with his team 1-0 down to, at the start of the day, the Premier League's bottom club, as Bellegarde is side down by Bergvall, a poor challenger, late one, and a Wolves free kick out on their left about midway into Tottenham territory. And 20 minutes into the second half, you just feel as though Spurs haven't got going at all.
No, they haven't. And again, we have to give credit to Wolves, and we have to give credit to Vitor Pereira for changing it. And, you know, I said Wolves, and we'll see what happens after this game, whether they can hold on for the win. It's still a very, very long season. At the beginning of the season, I said I fancy them to go down, but I like the manager that they've got, and he's already shown here he's a very intelligent football coach. Just a question now, can the players carry this out with the remaining 25 minutes plus injury time?
That is a booking for Bergvall. Lots of European football live next midweek on the Talk Sport Network. The Monday Night Football, Nuno Espirito Santo's first game in charge at West Ham is at Everton. That's live and exclusive on Talk Sport. Free kick into the penalty area for Wolves, headed away by Brennan Johnson, right on the edge of the box, and now Kudus looking to tear forward, blocked off by Bellegarde on the counter. Wolves look tough at the moment for Tottenham to break down. Where was this solidity slightly earlier on in the season, in the first 2 or 3 weeks or so?
But you know what? I've seen a fair bit of Wolves. I mean, even when you think about the game at St James's Park, they started really well. Could have been 2-0 up. It's just sort of individual mistakes, and they're not making individual mistakes this evening. Not anything that's in a really bad area that will go to a goal. So it's been a really good team performance. You know, perhaps Vitor Pereira could turn around and say, well, someone could say at him, you didn't quite pick the right system, and it looks like they've gone back to that 3, or at times it is a 4. But they look very comfortable in the second half, but they've played well tonight.
Close to the final quarter of the game. Wolves lead 1-0. Bellegarde, little chip out to the right-hand side. Near side is Chichua. He hangs up a high looping cross. Offside flag is up as it's nodded across by Arias. Tottenham, well, they might as well have been given the advantage there by the referee, but instead, is he insisting, actually, in fairness to the referee, that it had gone out of play for a goal kick? I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, that's what he's saying. The referee's assistant has got the flag up, so he can't really play advantage. The ball went out.
He got the flag up, I think, because the cross, it looped behind the goal, didn't it?
In. Yeah. And Spurs fans, understandably, not happy, but not happy with what they're seeing from their team.
Pedro Porro blazes the ball long down the middle. Richarlison nearly got on the end of that. Johnston hacks the ball clear for Wolves. The goalkeeper very well protected in the second half in particular. Wolves have their sights set on their first points of the new Premier League season. It would mean that in terms of victories for the campaign so far, the only team that would be yet to get off the mark, yet to win a Premier League game, would be Aston Villa, of all clubs. And we'll keep you up to date with Aston Villa tomorrow at home to Fulham, and Newcastle against Arsenal in Game Day Live with Sam Matterface and the team on Talk Sport. Oh, Bellegarde could be in behind here, down the left, he's beyond Bergvall, and he shoots wide. Was there a deflection on that? Bergvall and Romero chasing back, and goal kick has been given by the referee.
Well, he's got great pace, and that's what you have to do at times. Tottenham obviously trying to press high as much as possible, but it allows that space in behind. I actually think Romero came over and made a good touch there, but wasn't seen.
Tottenham trying to play out from the back, and they don't do it effectively. Udogie sees the ball shepherded away from his grasp and out of play. Chachua, who's been excellent since coming on for Wolves, wins them a throw deep inside the Tottenham half. On the evidence of this second half display, Wolves totally deserve the 1-0 lead that they've got through Santi Bueno. And Tottenham have been really disappointing in the second half, having been the better team in the first.
Absolutely. One shot off target, not one on. And they've not been able to deal with Chachua down the right hand side, and whenever they've just put balls in, that extra central defender just been able to head the ball out. I think it's the right move by Thomas Frank for sure, in the way he's made those substitutions. He's gone from a 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1, and now it's down to Xavi Simons and obviously the wide players to try and create something, Xavi in particular.
Wolves 21 minutes away from what would be a 10th Premier League win against Tottenham, home and away. That would be their outright best record against a single Premier League side. Pedro Porro inside right for Spurs. Wolves in the blue shirts, everyone behind the ball, and a terrible layoff in field by Johnson. Straight through to Johnston, the Wolves goalkeeper, and the groans of dismay from the Spurs supporters. It's just not happening in the second half at the moment. 03717 22344 to speak to Scott Minto and to Faker others after the whistle here on Talk Sport. Of course, more reaction tomorrow on Weekend Sports Breakfast from 6 a.m. And then on Monday Night Football, West Ham away at Everton is on Talk Sport, and we'll also look back at the weekend, of course, in the build-up to kick-off there. Pedro Porro ready to take a Tottenham throw right back position. It's far too similar to the Bournemouth game, you'd have to think, this for Spurs.
I think they played better tonight, or certainly in the first half anyway, than they did at Bournemouth. As I say, I think the scoreline flattered Spurs, not Bournemouth. Really poor performance, almost from start to finish, but first half they'll be kicking themselves they weren't at least a goal up, if not two. Mohamed Kudus came so close on several occasions, but they weren't able to get that goal. And I'll go back to the tweak of Vitor Pereira. That's what managers are paid to do, to affect a game, and he's certainly done that with his two substitutions.
Against one of the best tacticians in the Premier League, you'd have to say, in Thomas Frank. Wolves free kick on the halfway line. They've got a lot of confidence in Vitor Pereira, a new 3-year contract after Wolves had lost their first 4 Premier League matches. Then they made it 5 last weekend against Leeds, but it's Wolves who lead at Tottenham 1-0 tonight on Talk Sport. Tottenham don't look like scoring at the moment, but of course we know they've got plenty of good attacking talent on the pitch. Wolves go backwards. Krejci, left-sided centre-half, square to Agbadou. Thunders the ball high up the middle. Munetsi will chase. Out comes Vicario, waiting for the ball to bounce into his gloves on the edge of the penalty area. Quick underarm throw out to the right back position. Pedro Porro, and Johnson has to drop deep into his own half, and the Tottenham fans vocalising their frustrations here. Doesn't seem to be a great deal of urgency from Spurs. Romero caught by Munetsi, and he's going to get up to his feet. Is there enough urgency to get them back in it, Scott?
Well, look, I don't think it's an effort type thing. I think it's almost like, again, I'm repeating myself, the way that Vitor Pereira's set up this Wolves side and Chachira running on down the right-hand side. You know, that first goal in most games always so important. Suddenly when you're playing at home, you make mistakes. Vicario now has just booted the ball out. The fans are starting to turn. And it's not just because of the goal. It's because of the way Wolves have started this second half. And again, so much credit needs to go down to the manager.
Well, particularly away to the right, the South Stand end, the Tottenham fans, who are usually the most vocal, are the most upset with what they've seen in the second half. Wolves go along with Johnston. Strand Larsen goes down, no foul by Romero, who produces a dive header. It's gone straight to Hugo Bueno, and now Arias about 6 yards shy of the halfway line. Wolves, no need to force the issue here. 1-0 up, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Santi Bueno the scorer, with 17 minutes plus added time to go. No threat to the Wolves goal at the moment. Johnston, but a 1-0 lead is a slender one, of course, on a day of surprises in some ways in the Premier League. Out comes Vicario to the edge of his box to clear, left-footed high upfield. Santi Bueno nods the ball down. Polina a bit slow to react on the intercept, and now Bellegarde darting down the middle with Polina on the floor. 25 yards out here. Jean-Luc Bellegarde skips in field, nudges it square. Arias, Hugo Bueno from the angle, denied by Vicario with his legs. It's a corner to Wolves. They could have wrapped it up there.
This is brilliant football from Wolves. It really is, and so much on top now from the start of the second half. Great skill from Bellegarde, plays it inside. Again, they've got the extra man. Pedro Porro has to come inside. And Hugo Bueno has the attempt. He gets it on target. It's a save that Vicario should be making, but you get the feeling there's going to be another goal. It is going to come from Wolves.
Well, can you believe it? How things seem to have turned. Maybe this was the turning point Wolves needed. Still over 15 minutes left. Bellegarde's corner headed into the side netting by Xavi Simons. Heart must have been in his mouth there.
It was in my mouth on his behalf. It was a great whipped in cross, and as he's sort of going backwards, almost facing his own goal, it's come off the side of his head, and because he's so far ahead of the near post, it ends up hitting the side netting.
1-0 to Wolves. Another Bellegarde corner fizzed into the near post. Vicario takes it high above his head, plucks the ball out of the air, and an overarm throw out to the right. Pedro Porro surges over halfway, then slows the game down a bit. Xavi Simons in support midway into the Wolves half. Pedro Porro back to his feet. He's about 35 yards out. Andre gets back with a good tackle. Now Simons again, infield to a central area. Wolves with everybody behind the ball. Light blue shirts, white shorts and light blue socks for Wolves tonight, defending a 1-0 lead on Talk Sport. Quarter of an hour to play. After Liverpool, the champions, were beaten at Crystal Palace earlier. Chelsea beaten 3-1 by Brighton after being 1-0 in front. And now Chachua, with the goalkeeper backpedaling, is on the halfway line. Early ball up the inside right is poor for once from Chachua. Nowhere near Strand Larsen, and he's got to it, Vicario. And Tottenham urged forward from right to left here by the home support. Pedro Porro down the right. Richarlison's gone down holding his face. Off the ball incident with Santi Bueno. Tottenham fans are screaming from the stands. Richarlison back onto his feet. They got no patience for that at the moment, Tottenham. Richarlison ready to go again. The Spurs still have it, no great pace to the attack. Far side the right, Brennan Johnson with a deep cross. Chachua alone to head it behind for a corner. The latest odds with Wolves 1-0 up at Tottenham from Betfair, our official betting partner on Talk Sport with our Premier League coverage. Spurs to come back and win at 9-1. The draw 9-4 and 8-15 for a Wolves victory. That's all thanks to Betfair, playing in a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org. Spurs fans on their feet. Corner near side the left, and Wolves again bring everybody back to defend it. 13 and a half minutes to go. Here goes Xavi Simons. 1-0 down Tottenham. Right-footed in swinging delivery, dinked into the near post and again headed away by Monetzi at the near post. The corners have been quite poor from Tottenham tonight. They've got a throw on the halfway line, but the ball is a long way from the Wolves penalty area here. Pap Matassar and Wilson Odobert are going to come on for Tottenham, and Simons' corner was his last involvement. Bergvall is coming off as well, Scott Minter.
Yeah, again, he's just trying to affect the game. It's not through lack of effort, but if Spurs go home and they don't even get a point out of this game, they'll rue what happened in the first half and the fact they didn't score. But once the tide is turned, and sometimes it's even harder when you're playing at home because the fans aren't happy with what they've seen. They're expecting to come here and get a reasonably easy win against a team that hasn't even got a point, let alone a win this season. First half you've dominated, and suddenly second half is like, wow, what happened here? And then to turn it back, even when you're 1-0 down, you suddenly try to force things. You make misplaced passes. Just seen Pedro Porro there try to force something it wasn't on. The crowd moan. You lose a little bit more confidence. Wolves gain a bit more confidence. It's been a brilliant second half performance on this Wolves side.
Halfway line is Arias into Tottenham territory, plays the ball backwards and gets the return from Andre. Santi Bueno back to his goalkeeper. 12 minutes plus added time here for Wolves to try and hang on in the game. A rare error from Agbadou out of defence in this game. He's knocked the ball straight out of play. Tottenham throw deep into Wolves territory. Now it's with Sarr having just come on. Tall midfield player. Kudus, right corner of the penalty area. Pedro Porro on the overlap, tries across. It's charged down. Kudus on the edge of the box. Can't get away from Andre. Stepped in front of him to win it back. Owen Arias has lost it though. Slide tackle from Santi Bueno on Kudus. Tottenham still trying to force their way into the penalty area. Santi Bueno, the goal scorer, hooks it over his shoulder and into touch.
This is certainly what Spurs fans want to see. The pressure again. It's not about the effort. It's can you get that killer ball?
Pedro Porro with the delivery. Richarlison with the header is wide. Jumping with Santi Bueno. For a second it looked like Pedro Porro might have provided that killer ball, but 1-0 to Wolves. It remains on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. And so, in conversation with his long-time assistant, Justin Cochran, Thomas Frank, time is running out for Tottenham tonight to even salvage a point, which probably would have been considered a really disappointing result at the start of the day for them.
Yeah, Mohamed Kudus has gone from the right wing in the first half, the left wing in the second. He's now playing as the 10th. Got to try and get him on the ball. You get the feeling he's that match winner, match saver.
The Wolves break up field. Manetzi, the number 5, holds up play and goes backwards into his own half. There's Santi Bueno. Back to goalkeeper Johnston. Square ball is risky to Agbadou, and nobody was covering the goal there for a moment for Wolves. Johnston was well wide of the post. Wolves have it anyway with Bellegarde just into the Tottenham half. The ball hammered down the middle, intercepted by Van der Ven before it could reach Manetzi. Odobert, first field touch for him on the halfway line, tackled by Andre, who's been brilliant in the second half. Andre pumps his fist with delight. We timed that excellently. Wolves look really pumped up and much more confident and full of belief than they have been. 1-0 they lead at Tottenham. Pedro Porro's touch heavy as he crosses the halfway line. Feels like too many Tottenham players below par in the second half with just 9 minutes of normal time to go. Odobert out on the near side, the left. Udogie on the overlap, 10 yards from the corner flag. Udogie wanders back infield, then pops it back out wide. Again, no great pace to the Tottenham attack. Odobert 1-on-1 with Manetzi. Hard gets past him, left corner of the area. Polinia back out wide with a square ball to Udogie. Backwards 10 yards to Van der Ven. Square to Romero, about 40 yards out. Lines up a long-range shot, and it's miles over the top. And you can probably hear the ironic cheers of some of the Wolves fans and 1 or 2 of the Tottenham supporters. And behind us in the upper tier are heading for the exits now.
Yeah, you can see what Wolves are doing there, just dropping off, allowing Romero the space to tempt him into a shot that ended up being about 30 yards. And I don't know, Joe, I don't know, maybe you do. How many 30 yards top corner has he put in his career? I'm not sure there's too many. And actually,
a
midfielder would have seen that as the Wolves players then came out, a little ball slipped into Kudus would have been the one, and he would have been able to turn, maybe even have a shot himself, 18 yards at the edge of the box, or 1-2, and just creating something. But it's perfect tactics from Wolves in the second half.
Well, the final gamble for Tottenham will be to bring on Matty's Tell shortly. Kudus for Spurs, half blocked away by Belgar, long range effort from Polinia, and again from a very ambitious distance, even for a player of his quality on the ball, he's curled that a good 5-6 yards over the top.
Well, he has been known to put one in the top corner, not with complete regularity, but he certainly can do it. But he's side-footing it 30 yards. Again, I think that goes to show that Spurs are just a little bit lost in terms of how they think they can break down this Wolves defence. Shooting from 30 yards out. Sometimes you have to, and again we talked about the killer ball, and then what happened? The ball came in, a cross came in from about 40 yards out, and Richarlison's trying to head the ball from 12 yards out under pressure. It's just concerted effort and not allowing Spurs to get into really good positions, and where Wolves up until now have been making individual mistakes, it's almost a perfect team performance, certainly in this second half.
Change for Wolves. Off goes Strand Larsen. On comes the 6'6" striker Tolu Rokodari for the final 6 minutes plus added time. And Spurs with another change, maybe a change of shape. Tell for Udogie. And that'll do it for Tottenham. Last roll of the dice in terms of substitutions for Thomas Frank. Tell, who had a frustrating night here. I saw him against Doncaster in the League Cup. Got himself into good positions, but just can't find the back of the net at the moment, and neither can Tottenham here tonight. Rokodari looking to burst into the penalty area, seems to absolutely tower over Pedro Porro, and then Vicario's clearance is shanked out of play. Terrible clearance. Wolves throw midway inside the Tottenham half, and understandably they will slow the game down here. Wolves now at every opportunity, still up by a goal to nil. Hugo Bueno wins them another throw. It's been a very accomplished display in the second half by Wolves up to this point. Just 2 wins this season, both in the League Cup, and Wolves no win in 9 in the Premier League, going back to last season, of course, coming into today. Slice clearance by Pedro Porro, not very far. The ball will drop on the edge of the Tottenham penalty area. Van der Ven is there, and he accelerates in trademark fashion forward towards the halfway line. A brilliant rampaging run from Van der Ven. Well-timed challenge from Chachua, and the throw goes Wolves' way, and Van der Ven wants the ball back, but it's not his throw, and Van der Ven tried to wrestle it out of Andre's arms. Michael Salisbury eventually comes across to sort it out with 5 minutes to go, and even on the field now the Tottenham players are showing frustration of their own, but the Wolves fans cheer loud and proud on the far side of the field. Tottenham 0, Wolves 1.
Tell you what, that's a good race. Van der Ven Chachua.
Doesn't get much better than that.
No, I don't think it does. Van der Ven has gone past one. He tried to go past Chachua. He's coming across, and he made a wonderful sliding tackle. Obviously must have got the last nick, Van der Ven.
Clever back heel by Tell down the left, blocked off on a bird by Santi Bueno, but Tottenham recycle possession. Sarr, angled ball right corner of the penalty area to Pedro Porro. Left-footed delivery is nowhere near anybody in a white shirt. It's an easy take for Johnston, easiest take of the night for him.
That final ball has just not been good enough for Spurs, and where they were playing with confidence at 0-0. You know, it's amazing, it's a cliche, but goals change games. Suddenly Wolves have real belief, and Spurs, you could feel it, and not just on the pitch but off it. Big kind of groan obviously with what happens, and then okay, how are you going to react to that? And they haven't reacted well at all.
When you're in this situation, Scott Minto, surely you need the leaders in the pack to really step up and drive everyone else forward.
Yeah, but they can't deal with the system. The fact that Chachua, they've got the extra defender in there, but Chachua's bombing on as much as possible, so he really pinned the doggy back, who in the first half was bombing on for fun. So he's looking after that right-hand side now, Chachua, and it's been excellent. And suddenly, it's just amazing, the same players, confidence, had the confidence in the first half and unlucky not to go at least a goal ahead in the second half, and now forcing things that just aren't there.
Never underestimate the possibility of surprises in the Premier League, but it is a Tottenham throw out on their right, deep inside Wolves territory here. It's going to be hurled long into the penalty area with plenty forward for Spurs at this stage in the game. 1-0 down. There are only 3 minutes to go. It's going to be Mohamed Kudus to take in front of the Wolves fans. He goes short in the end to Odobert, right corner of the box, back to Pedro Porro, 25 yards out, delivers right-footed, header away by the tallest man on the field, Rokodari. It's come back out to Sarr. Not a good ball. Rokodari knees it away from danger this time. Wolves keep possession, very agile with Arias. Back to Chichua, a little too casual in possession. Andre makes a half tackle, and then Santi Bueno drives the ball away, deflects up to the halfway line, and suddenly 3 against 3. Bellegarde plays it left. Here is Rokodari. Left-hand edge of the penalty area now. Onto his right foot. Sliding challenge, robust from Romero. Right through Rokodari, but he did get plenty of the ball. Referee stopped it because the Wolves man is down injured. Tottenham 0, Wolves 1. On TalkSport 03717 22344. Wolves fans, Tottenham fans, and indeed fans across the country on a dramatic day to have your say with Scott and Faye Carruthers once we're done tonight.
I think that tackle is just about on the legal side, the way he came in, Romero. Honestly, he came in with force, and it wasn't a six-stud showing, but it wasn't coming round, you know. It was somewhere in between. The force that he came at, I'm not even surprised the size of Rokodori's gone down, and took a couple of minutes to get up, and even Romero himself was struggling with that challenge. But all the time it's just kicking down the clock for Wolves, who have been superb in this second half.
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is starting to empty in increased numbers now. Last minute of normal time. Munetzi left-hand edge of the penalty area. Back to goal. Lays it back to Arias. Van de Ven makes a good interception for Tottenham, whose best hope surely now is of a point, but not enough quality in the performance. All over the field. Johnson this time slices a clearance out of play. It's almost contagious tonight, that sort of mistake.
Yeah, it's almost like they're gone now. They're not able to bring it back. I mean, I actually felt that Wolves, instead of trying to go for a second goal, should have just tried to keep the ball, and they gave the ball away. And Brennan Johnson, who's come on as a substitute, is playing almost as a right back there, and he's just sliced it completely. And there's a bunch of Spurs players now who were very good in the first half and just look completely different side in the second.
Free kick Wolves, halfway. We're expecting 5 added minutes. We'll look down to the fourth official, and 5 added minutes it is at the end of the game. 1-0 to Wolves. Lots of empty seats now here in the home sections in North London. A lot of Tottenham fans have given up hope of an equaliser, and it hasn't looked like coming for some time.
No, and I'm trying to balance it out and remember what happened in the first half and sort of how dominant Spurs were, not necessarily in terms of possession, but the chances, the quality of chances. But Wolves have been just so good in this second half, and I know Faye's going to come at me for sure about what I said about Wolves. If they can play like this with the consistency from now to the end of the season, they will stay up. But the question is, can they? They haven't up until now.
Scott Minto with us on TalkSport. What were you saying? The dead certs to go? Well, a lot of people were saying.
I didn't quite say dead certs, but my prediction at the start of the season, which at the moment is still not a bad one, I did sort of think with the players that they lost and the players that they brought in who were perhaps not quite Premier League ready, I think if Vitor Pereira were able to keep them up, I mean, that would be an incredible achievement.
Well, a lot of people would have thought, and indeed may still think the same. It is one game, but Wolves are nearly there. Surely they're going to get off the mark at the very least, and it looks like they're going to do so with a win. 90 seconds through 5 added at the end, and a defensive change, completely understandable here. Off goes the impressive John Arias, and here comes the centre-half. Totti onto the pitch to help Wolves see out the final 3 and a bit minutes. 1-0 up at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, I just wonder, how many are they going to have at the back now? We'll have to do a counting.
What it is 6, I think, maybe even more.
Could be.
You can understand it. Tottenham have the ball deep inside their own half, a long way from any sort of danger area for Wolves. Pedro Porro has kept it in the right back position, had to use all his pace there. Long he goes downfield. It does look like a flat back 6 for Wolves. Johnson through the middle, hits Agbadou, and Johnston has to clear a way out of play, the goalkeeper. Tottenham throw, halfway line, halfway through the 5 added minutes. Even with a back 6, it just looked a little nervous there for a moment. Kudus trying to wriggle away down the right, and he's been tackled by Hugo Bueno. The roar of the Wolves fans and the jubilation as well. The celebrations are close to starting here. Tottenham desperate for an equaliser in stoppage time at the end of the game on TalkSport. 3 of the 5 added have been played. Kudus twisting and turning away down the right hand side, heads for the dead ball line, then cuts back onto his left, back to Pedro Porro, turn in field, Cruyff turn away from Rokodari. Now edge of the D is Van der Ven. Tottenham with nearly everyone forward, Wolves with everybody back. Wolves 1-0 up, Odebear's cross away at the near post. And Tottenham have it back, but the delivery just isn't there at the moment, and time is nearly up. Just over 90 seconds remain. Wolves fans, you're nearly there. In by Tell, hit by Paulinho! He's put it in the bottom corner! Wolves are not there! Wolves' hearts are broken! Tottenham have surely stolen at least a point! Paulinho steering it into the bottom corner, throws off his shirt in celebration right at the end. 94th minute, Tottenham 1, Wolves 1. Paulinho will get booked for the celebration, but I doubt he'll care.
I was just about to say that, a yellow card, but he will not care one bit. Unbelievable. I mean, it wasn't coming. It looked as if for all the world that Wolves looked so comfortable. But maybe, just maybe, that extra defender taking off the attacking player meant the layer of where Paulinho was, where the ball came in, then was laid off. There was no one close enough to him. But still, what a first-time finish, giving Sam Johnston no chance whatsoever.
They'll be running back into the ground, the Tottenham fans who'd left. At least 30 seconds to go. Out of the regulation, 5 added. Surely Tottenham couldn't, could they? It's 1-1 on TalkSport. What a dramatic finish on a day of late goals in the Premier League. Tottenham long through Porro, the flick by Tell down the right wing position, away by Agbadou. Suddenly Wolves clinging on for a point. Who'd have thought this right at the very end of the game? It's a Spurs throw midway into the Wolves half. We're into added time on added time. 20 seconds over the 5 added. Long pass downfield by Andre, and Rokodari can't get there. It'll feel like a defeat for Wolves in terms of the circumstances, and it could get worse yet, you never know. 1-1. Odebear out on the left hand side, in the left back position actually, long way from goal. And Tottenham committing so many bodies forward at 1-1. Odebear angled ball to the left. Here is Tell. We've had nearly 6 minutes of added time. Tell loses out. Santi Bueno down the middle. Rokodari challenged by Romero. Munetsi forward towards Bellegarde. Only half away. Romero flicks it clear. Sarr beaten to the 50-50 by Hugo Bueno, who hammers it out of play. Tottenham throw. That might be about that. Eyes on Michael Salisbury, the referee. Tottenham are going to have to take a few steps back through Van der Ven to take this throw, but it is 1-1. A dramatic late Tottenham equaliser. Van der Ven's throw up the left-hand touchline. It'll drop out of play, and it finishes level, and there are some boos at the end at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 2 points dropped for Tottenham or for Wolves? Vitor Pereira's team are off the mark in their Premier League campaign, but they'll be desperately disappointed in the circumstances that it's only 1 point when it was so nearly 3. He shakes his head, the head coach, as he walks onto the pitch. Santi Bueno having given Wolves the lead with his first goal for the club early in the second half. Spurs just looked like they wouldn't get back in it, but João Palhinha was there in the 94th minute to produce the telling intervention on a day of late goals in the Premier League, and it has finished dramatically. Tottenham 1, Wolves 1.